Forecast conversation around the northern plains, upper Midwest, southern Canada plains weather right now has everything to do with this ongoing wet weather pattern that's built in during April, has continued into May, the saturated soils over many parts of this region, and what impacts that has as the weather goes forward. There's an old farmer's proverb, wet weather makes wet weather, and there is some science to that. When the soils are totally saturated, there's more evaporation available so that once you get some kind of a weather system, there's more water vapor going up. So even sometimes marginal weather systems, which if the soils were dry would not produce any significant rain, produce significant rain. So there is some truth to that. It is not, however, an ends all type of a proposition, because obviously we can go from wet to dry and dry to wet. That is a normal situation. But what impact will this current wet weather pattern that we have in the central part of the continent have on what had been expected to be a warm and dry summer across this same part of the country? Well, let's look at the pattern right now. For most of the winter, the jet was coming out of the northwest, and that was delivering a lot of blizzards, but mostly not a lot of snow for this area. There was above average snowfall kind of in this region and very much below average snowfall in this region, with the jet coming right out of the west. Well, over the last few weeks, we've seen that change, and we're starting to see a wavier pattern with weather systems coming out of the southwest. This weekend, there's one over the northern plains moving out. That'll draw down a little bit of cool air, shunt the warm weather southward at least temporarily, but it will likely build back with the next ridge. And here's the way things have been going. We get a weather pattern that passes through, we get a few days where we get a little springtime back, and then the next trough begins to build in, and that one is expected to build in again toward the end of this week and this weekend, with yet another chance for significant precipitation into some part of the northern plains, upper Midwest. I won't yet call exactly where it will be, but somewhere in this region. That'll likely pull down some cool weather as we get toward the end of this first week, and then as we move into the last full week of May, the next ridge builds up, and then once again the next trough builds in. Now it looks like we may trend back toward a little bit cooler weather pattern in much of the western part of the region and the northern part as the warm weather shifts east, and that will have some impact on precipitation. As far as the way I see it goes this week, we're going to dry things out a little bit this week after this weekend's rain system, but it looks like we'll see another one building in late in the week, and that one may bring down enough cold air to bring some snow to the very western high plains. Most of the south looks fairly dry and nothing out of the ordinary over the eastern part of the country. The second full week of the pattern, I expect another system or two, and I'm not going to call exactly whether this will be moderate or heavy, but it does look like the general wet pattern will continue in the northern plains. The dry weather will be limited mostly to the southwest.